Have you ever gone to bed tired, but you just can't sleep? Or maybe you've managed to sleep, but you've woken up several times during the night without understanding why? If you're over 65, you should know that this could be directly linked to what you eat before bed. Often, it's not just worries or age that are getting in the way of your rest. The problem could be what you eat at dinner. Over time, our bodies change, and what used to be easily digested can start to cause discomfort. At night, this effect is even more noticeable. Certain foods activate the body, causing reflux, gas, or energy spikes that prevent the body from relaxing as it should. The good news? With small changes to your diet, you can transform the quality of your sleep and wake up feeling much more energetic. In this video, we'll talk about 8 common foods that seniors should avoid before bed, and what you can replace them with to help you sleep better. But before we continue, make sure you're subscribed to the channel. That way, you won't miss any important tips on health and well-being in old age. Why does what we eat at night interfere so much with sleep? Now that you know that some foods can seriously disrupt your night's rest, it's important to understand why this happens, especially in old age. Elderly people naturally sleep more lightly. This happens for several reasons: hormonal changes, reduced production of melatonin, the sleep hormone, increased sensitivity to noise, and of course, changes in metabolism. As we age, our digestive processes slow down. It takes longer for our stomachs and intestines to process certain types of foods, especially those that are heavy, spicy, or stimulants. When these foods are eaten close to bedtime, our bodies have to work harder to digest them just when we should be relaxing. The result? Fragmented sleep, insomnia, abdominal discomfort, and even restless dreams. In addition, the nervous system of older people is more sensitive to sudden changes such as spikes in sugar or caffeine. What might go unnoticed for a young person can be enough to completely disrupt a person's sleep, and if these sleepless nights become routine, their physical and mental health begins to suffer. Therefore, by knowing the right foods to avoid, you gain more control over your quality of life. In the next chapter, we will start with one of the most well-known and consumed villains in our daily lives. If this explanation is helping you understand your body better, please like the video. This helps the channel reach more people with useful content like this. Food 1. Coffee and caffeinated teas. If there is one habit that is deeply rooted in Brazilian culture, and in many others, it is drinking coffee at night. Whether it is after dinner or during a conversation before bed, it seems harmless. But for those over 65, that cup could be sabotaging their sleep without them even realizing it. Coffee is rich in caffeine, a stimulant that acts directly on the central nervous system. Its effects can last for 6 to 8 hours in the body, which means that even that 5 p.m. coffee can interfere with your sleep at 11 p.m. And it's not just coffee that contains caffeine. Teas such as black, green, and mate are also rich in this substance, as are some soft drinks and even chocolates, especially the bitter ones. As we age, our bodies process these substances more slowly. This makes the stimulating effect last even longer, making it harder to fall asleep and decreasing its depth. The result is a lighter night's sleep with a greater chance of interruptions throughout the night. It is important to remember that caffeine does not only affect the amount of sleep you get, but also the quality of your sleep. Even if you manage to fall asleep, your body may not reach the deepest, most restorative stages of sleep, which leads to waking up feeling tired and lacking in energy. The good news is that there are excellent alternatives: soothing teas such as chamomile, fennel, lemon balm, or lemon balm not only help with digestion, but also have a relaxing effect, promoting a more restful and continuous sleep. Swapping your nighttime coffee habit for one of these infusions can make a big difference. And speaking of digestion, our next food brings another big challenge to rest: fat. We'll talk about this in the next chapter. Food 2. Fatty and fried foods. If caffeine overstimulates the brain, fatty foods do the opposite. They overload the body. But the end result is the same: a bad night's sleep. This happens because foods high in fat put a lot of strain on the digestive system, which has to work harder when it should actually be slowing down and resting. When we eat fried foods, fatty meats, heavy sauces, or processed foods that are high in fat, the stomach takes longer to break down these components. This prolonged digestion process can cause reflux, heartburn, abdominal bloating, and even mild pain, symptoms that make it difficult not only to fall asleep, but also to stay asleep. The discomfort may not even be conscious, but it is enough to take the body out of a state of deep relaxation. Furthermore, fatty foods tend to trigger the production of gastric juices, which increases the risk of acid reflux, especially when the person lies down shortly after eating. This is a common scenario among elderly people who eat dinner late or who sleep shortly after eating. This reflux often manifests itself as a nighttime cough, throat irritation, or a burning sensation in the chest. To avoid these problems, it is best to opt for lighter meals at night. A piece of grilled chicken, baked fish, cooked vegetables, or an oil-free soup are much more sleep-friendly alternatives. In addition to promoting faster digestion, they help the body relax and enter the sleep cycle more naturally. Now that we've talked about the weight of fat, let's talk about a silent but popular enemy, especially among those who enjoy a sweet treat. After dinner, sugar. Get ready to find out why it also deserves special attention at night. Food. 3. Sweets and foods high in sugar. Who doesn't like a sweet treat after dinner? Whether it's a piece of cake, a chocolate bar, or even a soft drink to accompany your meal, sugar is often present at night, and that's where the problem lies. For the elderly, consuming sugar at this time of day can be a serious obstacle to a good night's sleep when we eat refined sugar or foods rich and simple. Carbohydrates. The body responds quickly with a spike in blood glucose. This spike, followed by a sudden drop, can cause agitation, anxiety, and even brief awakenings during the night. In the elderly, this fluctuation is even more noticeable, as their metabolism already works more slowly and sensitively. Additionally, sugar activates areas of the brain associated with reward and alertness, making it difficult to relax. This is especially harmful at night, when the ideal internal environment would be calmer and more balanced. Although it may seem harmless, a sweet treat before bed can lead to a restless night, interrupted sleep, and a lack of energy in the morning. But you don't have to completely cut out the pleasure of your palate. There are lighter, healthier alternatives. A cooked banana with cinnamon, unsweetened applesauce, or even oatmeal with a touch of honey are sweet options, but they have a much smaller impact on your sleep. The key is moderation and choosing the right time to eat. Now that we've talked about sugar, let's talk about another type of villain that is quite common on Brazilian tables: ultra-processed foods. You'll understand why they should also be kept away from your dinner. And while you're at it, tell us in the comments, do you usually eat something sweet before going to bed? Have you noticed if this affects your sleep? Your experience can help other people too. Food 4. Sausages and ultra-processed foods. After sweets, another food group that deserves special attention at night is processed meats and ultra-processed foods. Ham, mortadella, sausage, salami, nuggets, frozen lasagnas, and even instant noodles may seem practical and tasty, but they hide traps for the body, especially when consumed before bed. These products contain high amounts of sodium, preservatives, chemical additives, and saturated fats. Excess sodium, for example, can lead to fluid retention and increased blood pressure. This causes the body to remain in a state of alert, making it difficult to relax and get a deep, restful sleep. Furthermore, the additives present in these foods can affect neurological functioning, interfering with the production of neurotransmitters linked to sleep, such as serotonin and melatonin. Although these effects are not immediately noticeable, they accumulate over time, impairing the natural sleep cycle and the body's recovery during the night. Another critical issue is digestion. These foods are difficult to process, which means your stomach and liver continue to work even after you lie down. This extra effort can cause abdominal discomfort, reflux, and restlessness at night, symptoms that many older adults experience but don't always associate with food. The good news is that there are healthier, more practical, and tastier alternatives. Swapping processed meats for a slice of shredded chicken breast, boiled eggs, or low-sodium white cheese can make a big difference. In addition, preparing homemade meals, even if simple, gives you more control over the ingredients and consistently improves the quality of your sleep. Now that we've talked about processed foods, let's talk about a type of food that many people love, especially in more seasoned dishes, but that can be a nightmare for the stomach at night: peppers and strong condiments. Food 5. Spicy and highly seasoned foods. After processed foods, it's time to talk about spicy and highly seasoned foods. Ingredients that, although they enhance the flavor of meals, can be extremely harmful when consumed at night, especially by the elderly. Hot peppers, spicy seasonings, and very strong sauces, such as curry, excessive black pepper, or even some industrialized broths, tend to stimulate the production of acids in the stomach. For those who are already prone to reflux, gastritis, or heartburn, this can be a trigger for uncomfortable symptoms that manifest themselves precisely when the person is lying down. In addition to the physical effects, very spicy foods can also cause a slight increase in body temperature, which interferes with the natural internal cooling process necessary for the body to enter the deep stage of sleep. This can cause feelings of restlessness, heat, or light sweating during the night, making it difficult to fall asleep and stay asleep. Another relevant factor is that as we age, the gastric mucosa becomes more sensitive. What once seemed harmless can, over time, start to cause discomfort. Often, the elderly only realize this when they start trying lighter meals and notice a significant improvement in the quality of their rest. There is no need to eliminate the flavor of your food, just adapt it. Aromatic herbs such as basil, oregano, rosemary, parsley, and thyme can enhance the flavor of your dishes without upsetting your stomach. Using garlic and onion in moderation, well cooked, is also a good alternative to keep your palate pleasant and light at night. Now that we've covered strong condiments, let's move on to another point that is often overlooked: drinking alcohol. Many people believe that alcohol helps them relax, but the reality is quite different. Food. 6. Alcoholic beverages. Many people believe that a glass of wine or beer at night helps them relax and fall asleep faster. And in fact, alcohol can even induce initial drowsiness, but this feeling is misleading, especially for those over 65. In practice, alcohol seriously impairs the quality of sleep, and the effects tend to be more intense in older people. When metabolized by the liver, alcohol interferes with the structure of sleep, especially in the deepest and most restorative phases. It can cause micro-awakenings throughout the night, even if the person is not consciously aware of it. The result is fragmented, light, and unrefreshing sleep. When waking up, the body still feels tired, as if the night had been wasted, and often it was. Furthermore, alcohol has a diuretic effect, increasing urine production, and consequently, trips to the bathroom during the night. This disrupts the natural sleep cycle and interferes with the physical and mental recovery process. In some cases, alcohol can also cause night sweats, palpitations, and mild dehydration, symptoms that are especially uncomfortable for those who already have increased sensitivity with age. It is important to remember that the effects vary from person to person, but in general, the closer to bedtime consumption occurs, the greater the harm. If you are going to consume, it is best to do so in moderation and a few hours before going to bed. Now that you know how alcohol can ruin your nights, in the next chapter we will discuss a group of foods that, despite being healthy, can cause nighttime discomfort if consumed in excess: legumes. And if this content is helping you better understand your sleep and eating habits, don't forget to like the video. This helps the channel to continue bringing you more valuable tips. Food 7. Too many legumes: beans, chickpeas, lentils. Beans, lentils, chickpeas. These foods are highly nutritious, rich in fiber, iron, and vegetable proteins. For many people, they are part of their daily menu and contribute to a healthy diet. However, when consumed at night, and especially in large quantities, they can cause discomfort that disrupts sleep, especially in older people. Legumes are known to increase the production of intestinal gas. This is due to the presence of certain types of carbohydrates that ferment during digestion. During the day, the body moves and gases are eliminated naturally, but at night, when the body is resting and lying down, this process becomes more difficult, leading to abdominal distension, a feeling of heaviness, intestinal noises, and even mild cramps. Furthermore, the combination of slower digestion in old age and the fiber content present in legumes can make digestion take longer than is desirable during the night. Even if the person does not notice the discomfort clearly, the body can be constantly taken out of the deepest stages of sleep, interfering with the quality of rest. This does not mean that these foods should be eliminated from the diet, but rather that they should be moved to more appropriate times. Lunch, for example, is the ideal time to include beans, lentils, or chickpeas, as the body will still be active and will have plenty of time to digest them without affecting your night's sleep. Another useful tip is to always soak these legumes for a few hours before preparing them, which helps reduce the compounds that cause fermentation. With small adjustments, it is possible to include these foods in your routine without compromising the quality of your sleep. In the next chapter, we will talk about a type of food that, even though it seems light and healthy, can be treacherous at night. Those that contain large amounts of liquid. Food 8. Foods rich in liquids. Watermelon, soups, excess teas. After discussing legumes and their effects on the intestines, it's time to talk about another factor that can compromise the quality of sleep: drinking too much liquid before bed. And here, we're not just talking about water, but also foods with a high liquid content, such as watermelon, soups, broths, and even teas in large quantities. During the day, staying hydrated is essential for your health, especially in old age. But at night, excess fluids can become a problem. This is because when you drink large volumes of liquid shortly before going to bed, there is a natural increase in urine production. The result? Multiple trips to the bathroom during the night. This habit fragments sleep and prevents the body from entering deeper, more restorative cycles. In addition, each time sleep is interrupted, it can take several minutes or even hours to return to the same quality of sleep as before. In older people who already have naturally lighter sleep, these interruptions are even more harmful. Foods such as watermelon, pineapple, and cucumber, for example, have a large amount of water. Although healthy, they are not recommended for the night. The same goes for soups, broths that are too liquid, and excessive consumption of tea, even the calming kind. The solution lies in balance. Stay well hydrated throughout the day, and at night, reduce your liquid intake at least 2 hours before going to bed. If you are going to drink a relaxing tea, choose a small volume, just enough to promote comfort without overloading your bladder. Now that we've covered all 8 foods that should be avoided before bed, it's time to find out what is recommended to eat at night. Let's move on to the next chapter with practical suggestions to ensure a light, continuous, and refreshing sleep. What to eat before bed to ensure a good night's sleep. Now that you know the main foods that should be avoided before bed, it's time to look at the other side of the coin. What can be consumed at night to promote a peaceful, continuous, and refreshing night's sleep? Choosing the right foods during this period can help prepare the body for rest. The secret is to choose light, easy to digest meals that are low in fat, low in sugar, and free from excess liquids. In addition, it is important to prioritize foods that contain tryptophan, an amino acid that contributes to the production of serotonin and melatonin, substances that promote relaxation and sleep. Foods that fulfill this role well include cooked or mashed banana with oats, rich in tryptophan, potassium and magnesium. Bananas help to relax the muscles and nervous system. Oatmeal porridge with warm milk, classic, smooth, and soothing combination. Natural yogurt with a little honey, a light option that combines protein and a touch of sweetness without being overdone. Boiled or scrambled egg, light protein that is easy to digest. Wholemeal bread with white cheese, provides stable energy and does not overload digestion. Calming teas in small quantities, such as chamomile, fennel, or lemon. Balm, as long as not in excess. In addition to choosing foods, it is essential to respect the time of your last meal. Ideally, you should eat dinner at least 2 hours before going to bed, so that your body has time to begin the digestion process calmly. Setting up a small nighttime ritual with a light meal, a warm tea, and a peaceful environment can be a great ally for those seeking more restful nights. Eating consciously is one of the simplest and most powerful tools for improving the quality of life in old age. Throughout this video, you discovered that small eating habits can have a much bigger impact than you might think on the quality of your sleep, especially in old age. Avoiding foods like coffee, fried foods, sweets, processed meats, peppers, alcoholic beverages, excessive legumes, and large amounts of liquids at night does not mean losing flavor, but rather gaining health, disposition, and well-being. We've also seen that there are many light and nutritious options that help your body relax naturally. With simple, conscious choices, you can transform your nights into truly restful moments and wake up with more energy and mental clarity every day. Remember, a good night's rest is one of the pillars of good health in adulthood. Sleeping well strengthens your immune system, improves your mood, balances your metabolism, and even helps prevent diseases. And it all starts with what's on your plate at the end of the day. If you like this content and want to continue learning more about health, nutrition, and quality of life in old age, subscribe to the channel now. That way you won't miss any new tips and will follow us on this journey of living well at all stages of life. Thank you so much for watching. Take good care of your body and your routine, and see you in the next video.